Hello, my name is Dr. Doug Wheeler. I am the Academic Dean at Kidron College, and I want to thank you for your interest in our master's degree program. At Kidron, we believe that the future of Messianic Judaism depends on a foundation of rigorous, high-level scholarship. This program is not just a course of study. It is a call to intellectual excellence and theological depth. We have designed this Master of Arts program to challenge serious students, bridging the gap between ancient heritage and modern academic inquiry to produce leaders who can articulate our faith with both authority and nuance. The Master of Arts in Messianic Judaism is a 39-credit-hour graduate program designed to foster rigorous scholarship and theological depth within the framework of Messianic Jewish thought. Built on high academic standards, this program centers on research and intensive writing in each course, with a clear expectation that students will deeply engage with both ancient texts and modern scholarship. A distinctive feature of this degree is its demand for conceptual writing as opposed to abstract or speculative approaches. Each assignment and research project must clearly articulate core ideas, theological frameworks, and exegetical insights in a manner that is grounded, coherent, and applicable to the study and the practice of Messianic Judaism. Students at Kidron are trained to communicate complex ideas with clarity, depth, and practical theological relevance. The source requirements aim to promote academic integrity and diversity. These sources must include a variety of perspectives, which would include classical and contemporary Jewish scholarship, Messianic Jewish theologians and historians, rabbinic literature and primary Jewish texts, academic biblical studies and theological works, Musar, as well as interpretive methodology. This ensures that our students are immersed in a robust, well-rounded academic dialogue, enabling them to write with authority and nuance. For each research and writing assignment, the student must include at least 50 sources. And of those 50 sources, the student is required to use 25, a minimum of 25, in the research paper itself. And at the core of the program is the master's thesis, which is a significant academic research project that spans 75 to 100 pages of original, publishable work. The thesis must demonstrate a high level of critical research, theological insight relevant to Messianic Jewishness and Messianic Jewish world, proper integration of the required source materials, also a clear conceptual argumentation. And the source requirement for the thesis, again, is a person must select 50 scholarly sources, but use 25 and actively cite them and integrate them into the thesis. To meet the degree requirements, the thesis must be published on an institution-approved academic or professional platform. Publication is not optional. It is a final demonstration of the student's scholarly contribution and readiness for leadership in teaching, writing, and further academic study. The course of study for the master's degree involves 21 credit hours. As previously stated now, the The master's program is a 39 credit hour research and writing program, and it is broken down as follows. Research class number 1 is a 15 to 20 pages of a selected topic, which will qualify for 3 credit hours. Research class number 2 is again a paper in the length of 15 to 20 pages of a selected topic. Again, 3 credit hours. Research class number 3 goes a little deeper, and it's a 20 to 40 pages of a select topic. Again, that qualifies for 3 credit hours. Research class number 4, again, is a paper in the length of 20 to 40 pages of a selected topic. Research class number 5 expands even farther, and it is a 40 to 50 pages of a select topic, again, earning 3 credit hours. Research class number 6 is a 50 to 60 pages of a selected topic, again earning 3 credit hours. And then research project or research class number 7 is again a 50 to 60 pages on the specific topic of your thesis. So what we're letting you do in research class number 7 is to get a head start on your thesis. Because you recall now that I told you that the thesis is anywhere from 75 to 125 pages, and you're already in this research class developing a paper that is 60 pages in length. That's a real head start into your thesis. Again, the total of that is 21 credit hours. Knowing that we have to earn 39 credit hours. So we have to have an additional 12 hours worth of credit. And so we select one of the writings above, and you prepare a video teaching based on one of the papers that are 20 to 40 pages long. You create and record a bachelor's level course consisting of 18 to 24 lessons, each lesson lasting from 45 to 60 minutes. So you're literally producing from one of your papers a bachelor's level class, which earns you 4 credit hours. And then again, the next one, you will select one of the writings above. This is the second time. And you will prepare a video teaching based on one of those papers that is of the length of 45 to 50 pages. It's a little longer and actually gives you more room in which to use notes for the creation and the recording of the bachelor level course. And again, that course would contain 18 to 24 lessons, each lasting 45 to 60 minutes. And that will give you a 4-hour credit. And then on the third one, the third video, select one of the writings that you've done above of the 7 and prepare a video teaching based on that paper, which is again 50 to 60 pages in length, and create and record another bachelor level course. This is the third course, consisting of 18 to 24 lessons, each lasting 45 to 60 minutes. And here's the additional benefit to you as the student. If one of these classes is chosen for our bachelor's degree level, you will receive 15% of the tuition paid by every student that takes that class. So you're not only producing classes for credit, you have an opportunity, if your class is selected for the bachelor's program, of earning income that can help you with your tuition or give you cash to use as you want. And so what happens is you're not just a student, you become a partner in Kidron College. Now, for a few minutes, I'd like to talk to you about, in more detail, the master's thesis, which will earn you 6 credit hours. And as I stated earlier, each student in the master's program must complete the master's thesis. The thesis topic should relate to one of the 7 written papers as outlined above. However, if you prefer, you may choose any topic for the master's thesis, provided that your academic advisor agrees with your choice. The thesis must be at least 75 pages long. You can go longer if you wish, but the minimum is 75 pages, not including bibliography or endnotes. Further instructions on the preparing of the thesis, such as selecting the topic, outlining the paper, meeting with the faculty advisor, and writing the thesis and defending it, will be given to you at the proper time. So let me give you, again, the breakdown of the master's thesis in terms of how you develop it. The first thing that you will do at the appropriate time is to select and have the approval of your topic, along with writing a basic outline for your proposed thesis. This gets you 2 credit hours. The second stage is writing the first draft of the thesis. And once you submit the initial draft to your faculty advisor, they will go over it, they will approve it, or they will give you revisions to make it flow in a much smoother manner. It may help you with also some of your resource material, some of your resource that you quote, and to help you see if that fits and flows within the course of your discussion. So if the advisor disapproves of where you're at, you have to make revisions. Again, that whole process earns you 2 credit hours. Now, in addition, upon completion, let's say that the faculty advisor does not have an issue with your first draft, he will give you permission to formulate the final draft. And upon completion, 2 things have to happen. When you complete your thesis, then you have to present that to your faculty advisor for approval. That's the final draft. He may have you change some things to solidify that completed thesis. Now, upon completion, your job is still not done, because your thesis needs to be published. We believe in you as a student. We believe that we'll train you in order to write great material for Messianic Judaism, and to include in that your work that will help push forward our understanding of Messianic Judaism. And for that reason, we require that you publish your thesis. And so this thesis can be published on KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and we'll show you how to do that. If you want to publish on KDP and you don't know how to do that, we're willing to teach you how to go about that. But if you prefer some other publisher, you're welcome to do that as well. And the price of having someone help you publish your manuscript is very low now compared to the way it was 10 or 20 years ago. So, again, when you publish, you earn yourself 2 credit hours. And so, with that being said, I want to give you the 10 categories of study for the master's program. Now, as a master's student, you will choose 7 out of the 10 categories of study for research and writing. Each category corresponds to one of the assigned research classes. This is meant to ensure that each student gains a well-rounded exposure to the most important areas of Jewish and Messianic studies. The categories are as follows, and they're very broad, yet very specific. Category number 1, and let me just say this again, these are the categories that you're going to write on. Students will study, category number 1, students will study the Torah and the Tanakh, which means they'll study the Torah, the Nevi'im, the Ketuvim, the Torah, the prophets, and the writings, with a focus on Hebrew exegesis, Jewish hermeneutics, called the Pardes, and Messianic interpretation. Research projects will compare classical commentators, such as Rashi, Rambam, Ibn Ezra, with Messianic perspectives, illustrating how Tanakh passages are understood in Jewish tradition and how they point to Yeshua HaMashiach. This area of directed research papers can also explore themes like covenant, holiness, or prophetic fulfillment. That's category number 1. Category number 2 centers around the Brit Hadashah in Jewish context. So students will study and examine the New Testament as a thoroughly Jewish collection of writings. Research will emphasize the Second Temple period in Jewish background and Jewish history, including halakhic debates, temple theology, apocalyptic ideas, and wisdom traditions. These guided research papers will enable you as a student to explore links between the apostolic writings and the Tanakh, as well as their connection to rabbinic thought. Projects may compare Paul's letter, for example, with rabbinic halakha, or analyze the role of Midrash in Yeshua's parables. The category is very broad, and if you're uncertain, all you have to do is visit with your faculty advisor to make sure that the topic you choose fits appropriately in that category. Category number 3 is rabbinic literature and hermeneutics. And in this class, in this category, students will gain an understanding of Mishnah, Tosefta, Talmud, and Midrashim, learning how these texts shape Jewish life and thought. The research here will emphasize halakhic argumentation, Agadah storytelling, and the rules of rabbinic interpretation. Now, these rules will include such things as the 7 laws of Hillel and the 13 laws of Rabbi Ishmael. This study will explore the connection between those rules of interpretation with the rules of interpretation in the Gospels, as well as in Paul's writings. Additionally, there will be an exploration of rabbinic parables alongside those of Yeshua. That's a great category to explore and write on. Category number 4 is Hebrew language and Jewish liturgy. And in this category, students must develop a fundamental proficiency in biblical and rabbinic Hebrew to comprehend primary texts. Additionally, students will explore Jewish prayer and liturgical life through texts such as the Siddur and the Agadah. This may include Hebrew classes or courses on the Siddur offered by Kidron College. Research in this area should incorporate basic textual criticism, as well as theological analysis of liturgy and its link to Messianic fulfillment. This research paper should connect portions, for example, of the Amidah's Messianic petitions with the prayers that are found in the Gospel. Again, a wide open category of study. Category number 5 is Messianic Jewish theology. How important is that in today's world? This category should focus on systematic and constructive theology from a Messianic Jewish perspective. You as a student will examine how Scripture, tradition, and Messianic interpretation influence our understanding of Hashem, Israel, and the nations. The goal is to clarify what it means to follow Yeshua as the Messiah within Israel's covenant life, while actively engaging in the broader body of Messiah. This area should also include topics such as covenant theology, the ongoing role of Torah in your life and in believers' life today, the identity of Jewish and Gentile believers, and also the work of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. And since this is a broad subject, careful consideration is needed in how to approach it given the wealth of information available on this topic. Again, all categories are written so that you have a broad area that you can study that meets your level of hunger and your level of inquiry, so that you have the opportunity to write on subjects that interest you, yet have a potential to bring forward a deeper understanding of Messianic Judaism. Category number 6, and I love this one: History of Israel, Judaism, and the Messianic Movement. Students in this category will study Jewish history from ancient Israel all the way through the Second Temple period. It will include rabbinic development, medieval diaspora, modern Zionism, the Holocaust, and the rise of Messianic Jewish movement in today's world. Focused research papers can also examine Jewish believers in Yeshua across different eras, different times, while analyzing the theological impact of historical events, or even explore how modern Messianic Judaism developed within the context of world history. For example, a good topic to consider is how Messianic Judaism has changed from the early 1960s to today, including the stages it went through among Gentiles that led to its current form. For example, recommended books on ancient Jewish history could include such books as Echoes of Glory, Vision and Valor, The Oral Law of Sinai by Burl Wynn. Great books for strong Jewish history. Category number 7 is Musar and Spiritual Formation. This is a wonderful category of study. In this category, students will explore Jewish ethical and spiritual tradition focused on works like Mesilat Yesharim, Orchot Zedekim, and Chovot Levavavot, alongside modern authors such as Abraham Tversky, Alan Marinas, Barry Block, Abraham Heschel, and many others. Musar emphasizes character development, midot, as well as messianic discipleship and leadership in growth. Directed papers might analyze, for example, how Musar relates to the New Testament ethics, such as humility. In Mesilat Yesharim, compared, for example, to Philippians chapter 2, or speech ethics in Orchot Zedekim, contrasted with the Epistle of James, another wide open category. Category number 8 is where we deal with Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah. This category introduces students to sources such as the Zohar, Larianic Kabbalah, and research involves exploring concepts, important concepts, like the Ein Sof, the Shekinah, Tikkun Olam, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechud, as well as their similarities and differences to New Testament theology. Research papers in this category would include a thorough analytical engagement with these texts and messianic applications. For example, a student might analyze Shekinah theology in the Zohar alongside the writings of John on God's indwelling presence. This is a wonderful category, and one that is often ignored in Messianic Judaism. Category 9 is also a very important category. Some of you will be drawn to this because it deals with Jewish-Christian relations and interfaith dialogue. In this category, students may examine the complex history between Jews and Christians, from early conflicts to modern interfaith dialogue. Research should explore supersessionism, anti-Semitism, replacement theology, Messianic responses to Christian theology, and papers may focus on medieval disputations, the role of Jewish believers in early Christianity, or even current efforts to promote dialogue between Messianic Jews, the wider Jewish community, and the Christian church. This paper should also include, for example, a Jewish perspective on the Messiah and explain why it is so difficult to recognize that Yeshua was and is the Messiah in Jewish thought. The last category, which is extremely important. You can tell, I believe all of these categories are important, and you're going to have to choose which one to specialize in. Category number 10 is about practical ministry, leadership, and halakhic praxis. This category emphasizes applying Messianic Jewish scholarship to practical leadership and community life. Research projects should address pastoral care, congregation halakhic decisions making, and the integration of Torah and Musar in Messianic communities. It is also crucial to explore halakhic questions in modern congregational settings and leadership models that are based on biblical and rabbinical examples. For example, it could also discuss how feasts and festivals are absolutely observed in Messianic communities. And this includes applying principles from Jewish text and history to contemporary issues. Now, the goal of these research papers, these categories, is to build competence in each field of study and to train you in advanced research techniques, critical analysis, and academic writing skills. By the end of this program, you will have developed a body of research that demonstrates mastery in all areas of Messianic Judaism and Messianic studies. Again, let me go over the credit hours with you again. 7 classes of the 10 listed classes and writing papers earns you 21 credit hours. Video production for the bachelor's video classes gets you 12 credit hours. That's 3 produced videos for bachelor's classes, and each one earns you 4 credit hours. And then writing and defending your thesis is 6 credit hours. Again, that is a total of 39 credit hours. But I'm not through. I have more for you, because you can select 2 different paths of study depending on what you want to develop. One is called the direct path, and the other is called the specific field of study path. So let me talk to you for just a few minutes about both paths. The direct path is the first pathway, and it is a clear and thorough approach to the master's process. It is ideally suited for students who want to explore a wide range of topics within Messianic Jewish studies. In this pathway, a master's student will choose 7 of the 10 academic categories that I just explained and write a research paper for each. These papers will vary in length as the student improve in their writing skills, with the goal of producing works between 50 and 60 pages on a specific topic. Each paper should show increasing depth of analysis, engagement with primary texts, and the development of original insight that demonstrate both academic rigor and messianic understanding. As previously stated, once your 7 papers are complete, you will select 3 of those papers and transform them into video courses, each consisting of 18 to 24 lessons, approximately 45 to 60 minutes in length. These courses serve a dual purpose. First, they allow you to demonstrate your ability to communicate advanced scholarship to a wider audience and to integrate research, teaching, and ministry into your degree. By the end of this process, you will have developed a solid body of written work, 3 completed courses ready to be used in congregation or academic settings, and in addition, if one of these 3 courses is offered as part of Kidron's bachelor's program, a designed portion of the bachelor student tuition who takes that class will be allocated to you as the teacher of that class. Specifically, what I'm saying to you, if one of your classes is selected as part of our bachelor's level class, you will receive 15% of the tuition from every student that takes that class. That's not just a blessing to you, but it shows that you're willing and able to partner with us in the further development of Kidron College. Now, the second area of study is called the specific area of study. It's the direct field of study path. And it's an important one. And the reason that it's called the specific field of study is because it enables you to explore specialized areas of Messianic Jewish research in greater depth by combining related topics. So instead of writing 7 separate papers, you will merge 2 categories into one major research project, resulting in a paper that is longer. It will average 50 to 60 pages. Each of these combined studies must demonstrate a genuine integration of 2 of the 10 categories of study. For example, examining how rabbinic hermeneutics intersects with Messianic theology, or how Musar ethics influence New Testament discipleship, is a good indication of a strong connection that can be written on. So you will complete this process 2 times if you select this method of study. So in the first paper, you will select 2 categories of the 10, and you will write a paper of 50 to 60 pages in length. The second one is just like that. You'll select 2 different categories of study and write a single paper of 50 to 60 pages on those 2. That equals 4. So you do that process 2 times. And then from that point, you have completed 2 comprehensive research papers covering 4 of the 10 categories, like I just said, in those 2 papers. And these classes can also be used to fulfill the requirement of the preparation of video classes for the bachelor's level. And again, as I said before, in this path of study, if one of these papers is chosen and you do a video class and you produce it for the bachelor's level and we select it for one of the bachelor's courses, you will be reimbursed for 15% of this tuition of each of the students to take that class. Again, it's because you're producing the video class, and it's the same category, 18 to 24 lessons, 45 to 60 minutes in length. So if you do it on the combined, you're actually producing 2 videos in 4 different categories, and then that leaves you with 1 more video to present in one of your other papers. These courses will demonstrate not only, again, your expertise in complex topics, but also your ability to teach effectively. Additionally, as in the direct method, like I said before, if a student takes your class, you're going to be reimbursed. And so now, after completing the 2 combined papers and video classes, you still need to write 3 additional individual research papers of appropriate length, each focusing on one of the remaining categories. So in essence, what you're doing, either in the direct path or the specific field of study, you are only going to select 7 of the 10 categories to write on. Now, I'd like to talk to you for a moment about cost. Everybody needs to know what these degrees cost and how can we make it beneficial to you in terms of not only academics, but in finances, and how can you afford to do this. The cost of the master's degree is very low. It is $200 per credit hour. The total required credit hours to complete the master's degree is 39. So the overall cost of a master's degree is just $7,800. And I want you to know that monthly payment plans are available. And there are 3 options that are available with no interest or finance charges. 24 monthly payments would be $325 per month. 36 monthly payments would be $217 per month. 48 monthly payments would only be $163 per month to complete the payments on your master's degree. Now, let's say that you needed more time. We are certainly willing to talk to you about making it longer than 48 months, but you have to understand, no diploma will be awarded until the balance is fully paid. So let me, in conclusion, say this. The master's degree is specifically engineered for those who seek to move beyond abstract theology into the realm of disciplined conceptual scholarship by mandating a vast breadth of sources, the 10 categories that contain many categories, from classical rabbinic literature to contemporary academic works. We ensure that your voice is grounded in the historic and theological conversations of our people. The requirement of a 75-page original thesis is not merely an academic hurdle, but a commitment to producing publishable work that advances Messianic scholarship and takes us farther into the Messianic Jewish world. So we invite you to step into this environment of intense writing and research, where your contributions will help define the academic future of our movement. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to let us know, contact us, get a hold of our registrar, Amy Muti, contact me, Dr. Doug, as the academic advisor. We will get your questions answered, and we'll do all that we can to make sure that you thoroughly understand how to go through the master's program. So good to be with you today, and I hope this makes sense to you. It's not done like this a lot, but again, we produce this way so that at the end result, we bring people into a certain level of scholarship where you have the opportunity to lead this movement. God bless you and thank you for your time. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. God bless you.